Welcome to the ultimate girls' getaway through Nova Scotia in the winter. If you're dreaming of snow-dusted fishing towns, cozy spa days, seafood feasts, and sipping wine in snowy vineyards, then you're in the right place. This is your full itinerary featuring the iconic Lobster Crawl Festival, seaside resorts, and unforgettable local experiences. Day 1 kicked off with a smooth landing in Halifax, where we hit the road to the picture-perfect town of Lunenburg. Our visit coincided with the Lobster Crawl Festival, and although you can get fresh lobster all year long across Nova Scotia, February happens to be peak lobster season along the South Shore. That's the area between Barrington and Peggy's Cove. Various restaurants, breweries, and attractions offer special lobster theme offerings ranging from dishes and beverages to live entertainment. And as you can see, I enjoyed a seafood chatter and a Lunenburger lunch at Grand Banker Bar and Grill. The burger here had lobster scallop and the beef patty. I was visiting Nova Scotia with my friend DP, who is a food writer, and we decided to pop into Ironworks Distillery for a quick tasting before hitting the road once again. We checked into the Lobster Shack at Oak Island Resort, our cozy home base with waterfront views. And if you want to know more about this seaside Nova Scotia resort, I have a full resort video for you to check out. We wrapped up the evening with comfort food and cocktails at Betty's on the Kitch, where we were told that a winter storm was brewing. I love the cozy vibes at this Mahone Bay restaurant. Day 2 greeted us with a full-blown snowstorm, which turned out to be a gift. We embraced the cozy vibes and stayed put at Oak Island Resort. Obviously, we're city folks and found the white fluffy stuff pretty enough to venture outdoors by foot. We toured the property, enjoyed drinks at the on-site bar, and leaned into the chill with fireside laughs. How cold was it? Even our drinks were frozen. This was a winter reset Nova Scotia style. We thought it would be safe to venture off resort for dinner, but was told to stay off the roads and enjoy dinner at the restaurant on site instead. Easy enough because they had lobster dishes that were part of the Lobster Crawl Festival. Woke up on day 3 to clear road, so we checked out of the Oak Island Resort and made our way to the charming town of Chester, where winter scenes right out of the movies awaited us. Just look at these picture-perfect views. Grab breakfast at the Kiwi Cafe. Yes, they had lobster crawl items as well. They're famous for everything on their menu, but I must say, their hot and cold lobster sliders were delicious. We then made the hour drive to Oceanstone Resort for a spa day that was pure bliss. Massages, robes, and total relaxation await you here. We decided to stick to the hot and cold pools and rotated between them, and also checked out the sauna and steam room. You can order drinks here, including alcoholic beverages, and enjoy it outdoors by the fire pit if you're looking to take a break during a 3-hour circuit. This was definitely a relaxing day for us. We were actually staying in the on-site resort, but before checking in, we decided to head to Peggy's Cove Lighthouse just in time for a winter sunset. Definitely one of the highlights of this trip. We stayed overnight at the Oceanstone Resort for the ultimate winter wellness escape, and we're supposed to enjoy the beachfront Periwinkle Cottage, but the winter storm did wreak havoc on the pipes, so we were switched over to a guest suite closer to the lodge. Things happen when you travel in the winter. That's what we learned on this trip, and the team here was amazing. They were super apologetic and gave us all these additional surprises to make our stay a cozy one. As for dinner, we decided to dine at the on-site Inn's restaurant, and let me tell you, those prawns on the menu, they were amazing, and they had dishes as part of the Lobster Crawl Festival as well. Day 4. A stay at the Oceanstone Resort came with a complimentary breakfast, which included a buffet of fruits and breads, as well as waffles and eggs. So, we had some time and I had to roam around the resort to check out the winter views here. The beach is here. I can only imagine what summertime is like. But let me tell you, it is pretty, it is worth a wander, and it makes for a really nice escape. We bid farewell to a wellness retreat in Nova Scotia and drove to Halifax, checking in to the beautiful Sutton Place Hotel, our home for the next 2 nights. I mean, here, I might as well give you a full room tour, right? Well, check this out. I had all of the space just for myself and these views. I woke up to that every single day. The room had everything I needed, and if you're looking for a centrally located hotel in downtown Halifax, this certainly beats the bill. Alright, time to head on. Out. We then headed straight to the waterfront for a little retail therapy and made a delicious pit stop at Peace by Chocolates, a must visit for sweet treats and social good. Lunch was at Au Liban, a stylish spot serving up bold Lebanese flavors. Luckily, our visit was coinciding with Dine Around Halifax, a city-wide culinary event where restaurants featured curated prix-fixe menu items throughout February. We tried a couple different dishes here, and every single one of them was amazing. Oh, this dessert, so good. If you're looking for a fun girls' afternoon activity, this is it. 7 Virtues allows you to blend your own perfume. So we arrived there, we were greeted with this little scarf. That was the surprise of the day. We were told there's different surprises each day. We were allowed to walk throughout the space, smell every single thing we wanted, and then, under the guidance of the staff, we were allowed to craft our own masterpiece. This is such a unique experience, and as we sipped our tea, we got to blend, we got to smell. We went back to the drawing board a couple times, but let me tell you, what we ended up with is something that is totally mine, something that I love the smell of. And once we were done with everything and we were satisfied with the way things were, we were then guided onto the next stage, which is where we got to label our bottles, we got to pick our own names. Honestly, so unique. What a beautiful gift and a perfect girls' afternoon activity when you're in Halifax. Next up, it was happy hour at Bar Sophia, which has been on my list for ages. Look at how gorgeous this space is. We couldn't help but take pictures. Alright, what did we have here? Espresso martinis and Argentinian empanadas, 2 of my favorite things. After some well-earned rest at the hotel, we headed out again for dinner at the Press Gang, one of Halifax's most iconic dining spots, which also featured a special dine-around menu. This is a traditional oyster bar, and of course we had to get some oysters, and as part of the dine-around menu features, they had a couple items. I got a 3-course meal, and let me tell you that the smoked mac and cheese with lobster was amazing. So unique. We were full but couldn't resist a cocktail nightcap at Bar Kismet to close out the night. If you're looking for cocktails with funky ingredients that come together magically, this is the spot. Day 5 began with a quiet morning in Halifax where we visited the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia for a dose of culture and calm. This gallery is home to the famous Maud Lewis house, where you can see her original tiny home hand-painted in a signature, cheerful style. Then it was time to check into the wine spa for our much-anticipated facials. The space was serene, the staff incredibly welcoming, they even have a sommelier here, and the treatments were luxurious. We did our own facials here while we sipped some local wines, and they also gave us snacks. Come on, talk about it. Perfect, hidden gem in the city, and a must for a girl's getaway. Next up, a French-inspired lunch at Café Lynette, where the ambiance and food felt right out of Paris. After that, we hopped onto the ferry to Dartmouth, a quick and scenic ride across the harbor. We spent the afternoon roaming around downtown Dartmouth, popping into stores and chatting with the local shopkeepers. We also discovered a shop called Kept Shop, and honestly, walk in here. If you don't know what you want, but you want something cool and quirky, you'll find it here, promise. All that shopping got us thirsty, so we popped into Canteen for a quick glass of wine. Dinner was a Dear Friend, a stylish and intimate restaurant that was completely amazing. The Dine Around Halifax menu was exceptional. They had creative dishes with bold flavors and beautiful presentations. Every bite was a treat, and it turned out to be one of our favorite meals of the entire trip. The menu changes often, and I'm already looking forward to a return visit. Our nightcap this time was at Narrow's Public House, which is a bar in our house. You can roam through the various rooms, and we enjoyed fried pepperoni here, yes, for our nightcap. Day 6 was all about wine and good vibes. We said goodbye to Halifax and hit the road towards Annapolis Valley, but first, breakfast at the whimsical Pink Piano Cafe. With its artsy vibe and cute drinks, it was a perfect start to our day. Our wine crawl began at Bent Ridge Winery, where we cozied up by the fire with a wine flight. I love the Spanish design at this winery, and you definitely want to check out their bathrooms. Then it was on to Barreling Tide Distillery for a quick tasting of their small batch spirits. Think maple rum and fruit-forward liqueurs here. It was time to get back on the road, and do not worry, I was doing the drinking, whereas my friend was the DD. We decided to keep the good vibes rolling with lunch at the Church Brewing Company, and as you can see, this space, yes, it used to be a church and it is now a brewery. It's where beer meets divine architecture, and our lunch was fantastic, perfect for a cold winter's day. We also swung by Saltbox Brewery to pick up a few drinks because they were just down the street. Did you know that you could sleep at a winery? Yes, you can, at the Inn at the Grand Prix Winery. So this is where we settled in late into the afternoon, and here's our 2-bedroom attic suite overlooking the vineyards. As you can see, there's tons of room here. We really got to spread out. We caught up in some work and planned the rest of our week here in Nova Scotia. For dinner, we headed to downtown Wolfville and dined at Juniper Food and Wine. This cozy 16-seater restaurant serves up a locally inspired fare, and this dessert was so good. Day 7, we woke up to a beautifully set breakfast at the Inn at the Grand Prix Winery. There were fresh pastries, local jams, and coffee with a view of the snow-covered vines. It was a perfect, peaceful start to our morning. Nova Scotia is home to many wineries, and Wolfville is home to several of the distinguished wineries. This is why we decided to explore further. We started our morning at Planters Ridge Winery, where we sipped on some wines, looking over the vineyards, and then decided to head over to Sea Level Brewing, where we sampled seasonal craft beers in a cozy tap room. This is exactly where I purchased quite a few gifts to bring back home for Chris, because their beers were really fun. For lunch, we headed to the Noodle Guy, an unassuming gem with house-made Italian pastas that totally stole the show. They also served up some fusion Asian dishes, such as this ramen, which warmed my bones on that cold, cold day. In the afternoon, we had a private tasting at Benjamin Bridge, one of Nova Scotia's most acclaimed wineries. While our original plan was to enjoy an outdoor winter tasting, the storm had made the vineyard a bit too slick, so we enjoyed a curated indoor session instead, learning about the sparkling wines and the organic process. I visited this place in the summertime, and it's one of my favorite wineries in Nova Scotia. We took some time to relax at the inn before heading out to a truly special treat, the Nova Scotia Winter Wine Festival. As luck would have it, our visit aligned perfectly with the event, and huge thanks to our inn host who kindly chauffeured us to and from the venue this evening, which made our night even more memorable. Tokens could be purchased that enable us to sample various wines and purchase some food pairings as well. This event enabled us to meet with some of the folks who worked at other wineries that we hadn't been to, and we also got to sample their wines. So it was a great opportunity to learn more about Tidal Bay wines as well as the other wines in this region. Day 8 was all about soaking in those final Nova Scotia winter moments. We started with a cozy breakfast in our room, slow coffee, a snowy view, and time to pack at our own pace, and then made our way to Wolfville Farmers Market, which runs indoors during the winter months. It was such a lovely scene with everything from handmade rolls to samosas, handcrafted soaps. There was even a live musical performance that gave the whole place a festive, welcoming vibe. Lucky for us, our flight was delayed, giving us the perfect excuse to revisit Grand Prix Winery, which is where we'd been staying. This time we got to experience their tasting room and indulge in fresh oysters and bubbling raclette, because why not end the trip on a decadent note? Am I right? Having visited Nova Scotia's first operating winery, we thought we'd move on and squeeze one more visit, this time at Lightfoot and Wolfville, which is another standout winery just minutes away, and then we spent the rest of the afternoon strolling through downtown Wolfville. We have cute little shops, artsy cafes, and that general small town feel, which was the perfect farewell. It was then time for us to head back to Toronto. I snuck in a last lobster roll before my flight, of course I did. We returned to Toronto, hearts full, bellies happy, and already dreaming of our next Nova Scotia escape.